Welcome to the Ben Stillwater Radio Show.
Coming to you from the Buckaroo Studio at Livingston, Montana.
With your host, Ben Stillwater.
And your co-host, Cyndee Jean. Good to be with you again here on the program.
It sure is.
We got a good cup of coffee off the chuck wagon.
Yeah.
And some good conversation ready to roll.
We do.
Coffee and good conversation. Wanted to start out this program talking about Montana. Like the Gibson story of Montana. Originally, the Gibson Guitar Company, y'all probably would know, it started in Kalamazoo, Michigan many years ago. A man named Orville Gibson. And he worked with a fella there, but the last name of Lohr, that did help design the F5 mandolin and many of the archtop guitars.
We got some Lohrs here.
Yeah, we do. Some nice old instruments.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, they went on to build many legendary guitars and different sorts of instruments through the years. And then about 1988, they started having some interest in a place in Bozeman, Montana.
Oh, that's kind of close.
Not far from Livingston, where the Buckaroo Studio is it?
That's right.
It's about a 20-minute ride unless it's snowing or raining.
Yeah.
Then you need to take a dog sled.
Yep.
But then in 1989, they started production right here in Bozeman, Montana. And, of course, that was the beginning of a new era for Gibson. And that was mostly the acoustic side, so what we call flat tops. So the electric ones are still made down, I believe, some in Memphis. I think they still have a place there in Tennessee. And one of the main interests that they had in building their acoustics in the Montana was the weather conditions. The climate was better for building guitars compared to Tennessee with the higher humidity. And I've had my hands on some really beautiful instruments. So of course, we talked before, Cyndee's guitar was a very nice Gibson J45 from 1950. Of course, that'd be a Kalamazoo Gibson. Okay. Yeah. But what we're talking about right now is one of these beautiful Montana Bozeman Gibsons that we call them the Bozeman, made in Bozeman. Some people call them that. In the musicians' world, it's a Kalamazoo Gibson or a Bozeman Gibson. And it's called the Gibson Songwriter guitar. It's a cutaway. It has an onboard EQ. If you're into guitars, it's a great performing guitar. You have EQs right on board. And
it's a nice one.
It's a good all-around. That's right. It's a good all-around instrument. We're going to get right down to it here and pick you a little instrumental, a little tune here we wrote called Sunny and Snow.
Let's do it.
You're listening to the Ben Stillwater Podcast with your co-host, Cyndee Jean.
Here I am.
Bet you can't guess who I am.
Rolling, 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 rawhide. Ha!
We're at the rawhide and rhinestones part. We got a lot of little titles in the show here. We like to go through, talk about some history, and this one's, we might recognize Frankie Lane. He was a singer born in the early 1900s that had a very recognizable voice and sound that was on the hit television show Rawhide.
Yeah.
What a Western that it was, and of course it probably started the career of a very famous actor named Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
You feel lucky?
Oh, boy.
Well, do you, punk? And started on Rawhide. So that song, that Frankie Laine, what a singer, you know, and what a soundtrack. It later went on, of course, it made the Blues Brothers movie with Belushi and what's the other feller's name?
Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd. That was a great show if you like to see a musical show. Again, the Blues Brothers. And so Frankie Laine, he had another song that he sang. It was called High Noon, which was from the movie High Noon, the Western picture, with Gary Cooper.
Yeah, he did a lot of ones. I listened to his Mule Train.
Oh yeah, the
song.
Mule Train.
There's a lot of whip cracking in there.
Yeah, just like Rawhide. And on High Noon, of course, you remember Gary Cooper. He was from the state of Montana.
Okay.
He was born early 1900s, around the same time as Frankie Laine in Helena, Montana.
Mm-hmm.
Out, hit 'em up, Rawhide. Cut 'em out, ride 'em in, cut 'em out, ride 'em in, Rawhide. Moving, though they're disapproving. Keep them doggies moving, Rawhide. Don't try to understand them, just rope and throw and brand them. Soon
Now let's talk about rhinestones.
Rhinestone, you mean like the suits, the fancy Western suits?
Oh, and who comes to mind about that? It's Porter Wagoner.
It's fancy. They called them nudie suits, rhinestone suits. The reason there was a man named Nudie that built them, I suppose. Of course,
he had some shiny ones.
Yeah.
And the one that stands out to me is that big wagon wheel he had on. And, of course, then his band was the Wagoneers.
That's right. And, you know, you probably remember a guy named Buck Trent. So
Yes.
Porter had a song out called The Carroll County Accident. It has this really neat intro in it that starts out, it sounds kind of like a steel guitar. It's actually Buck on a banjo. So he's a string bender. So he could make that thing twang and bend, and that was Buck Trent on the banjo. He was one of the Wagoneers. Of course, Porter Wagoner was from West Plains, Missouri. And another famous music thing that happened there with these cowboys, singers in the rhinestone suits, and the state of Missouri was the Ozark Mountain Jubilee.
That's right. That's great.
Started out as a CBS broadcast on radio, and later, I believe about 1955, started into television and went on to have millions and millions of viewers each week as it aired.
Carroll County's pointed out as kinda square. The biggest thing that happens is the county fair. I guess that's why it seemed like such a big event. What we all call the Carroll County accident. The wreck was on the highway just inside the line. Walter Browning lost his life, and for a time it seemed that Mary Ellen Jones would surely die, but she lived long enough for her to testify. Walter Browning was a happy married man, and he wore a golden wedding ring upon his hand. But it was gone, nobody knew just where it went. He lost it in the Carroll County accident. Mary Ellen testified he flagged her down, said he was sick and could she drive him into town. No one even doubted what she said was true, 'cause she was well respected in the county too. I went down to see the wreck like all the rest. The bloody seats, the broken glass, the tangled mess. But I found something no one else had even seen. behind the dash in Mary's crumpled up machine. A little matchbox circled by a rubber band, and inside the ring from Walter Browning's hand. It took a while to figure out just what it meant, the truth about the Carroll County accident. By dark of night I dropped the ring into a well and took a sacred oath that I would never tell the truth about the Carroll County accident, 'cause the county ordered Dad a marble monument. I lost him in the Carroll County accident.
Well, that was good to hear a little bit of Porter Wagner music, a little Porter song there.
Yeah, I like that one. I'd like to let the folks out there know, when it comes to history, guitars, it just comes from the top of his head. He just has history. He's just a walking encyclopedia on guitars and songwriters and singers and the A-team, and it's just remarkable for all the things that he knows of history from way back before he was even born. He just knows way back in the 50s, the 30s, the 40s. Ben didn't just get this information from a history book. He got it from meeting and working with a lot of these people. It's not from a script or anything. It's just him, just knowing, just from years of being so interested in this music and his music, and that's what brings him to write so many songs and so many heartfelt songs, and that's what makes the Ben Stillwater Podcast, sharing with you all the love of music.
This old motor plays a song like an old country song, like strumming the strings on an old guitar. And the thought comes across my mind, I left behind the place that you are. We want to talk a little bit about the local.
Yeah.
That reminds me of the local down in Tennessee way. To see Nashville, there's a place there, and you can go in there just about any time and see some great musicians. One of our friends, Billy Contreras, plays the violin, and just if you get a chance in Nashville, just stop right in there to the local, and you get to hear some number one grade A picking fiddle playing. I guess you don't pick a fiddle.
He might. He does pretty much anything with that fiddle.
Yeah, he can play. Let's see, 5-string, 6-string. I can't even play 1-string. Brian Bethke, we like to say thanks to him. Of course, he's there in Wisconsin and at 102.3 WHTL. He's on there. You can check him out on Facebook. That's Brian Bethke. He's got Coffee with Brian every weekday morning. I think it's 6 to 9 is what he's running there.
Yeah. Check him out.
And we'd like to say thanks to him for his help and all the things he's done. And we want to talk about one of our fans there. We like to play a song that comes from a guitar. That's another Gibson guitar. That'd be a Kalamazoo Gibson, made in 1958. It's a Gibson 295 that we're playing on here. We'd like to send this out to Russell and Betty out there in Wisconsin.
original American songwriter.
One of my favorite things to talk about, and I spend a great deal of time doing just that, writing songs. It's been a process through the years that I've enjoyed very much, and it's, some people call it the art of songwriting. There's just so many ways that people have expressed stories and feelings, emotions through song, and then of course when it's put to music. And one of the first people that come to mind, which is quite a few, I really enjoy the history of songwriters, probably primarily in country music, but another one of my favorite writers is actually John Fogerty. Tom T. Hall was known as the storyteller. He was a man from Kentucky, and one of the great albums you can check out is In Search of a Song. I'm sure you find it online. I have it in LP and a bunch of different things, and since I was a kid, I love the way Tom even sang. One of my favorite things that Tom said was, if you're a songwriter, sometimes we get concerned about creating the melody with the words, and everybody has a different way of songwriting. But one of the things that he said was, if you don't have a melody for your song, borrow one. And that's an interesting thought, because music really all ties together. There are so many similarities, but different in the way they word their story. And, you know, Tom T. Hall was just one of the great storytellers.
Like this song, A Week in a County Jail.
Do-do-do, do-do-do, do-do-do. One time I spent a week inside a little country jail, and I don't guess I'll ever live it down. I was sitting at a red light when these two men came and got me and said that I was speeding through their town. Well, they said tomorrow morning you can see the judge, then go. They let me call one person on the phone. I thought I'd be there overnight, so I just called my boss to tell him I'd be off, but not for long. Well, they motioned me inside a cell with 7 other guys, one little barred up window in the rear. My cellmate said if they had let me bring some money in, we ought to send the jailer for some beer. Well, I had to pay him double 'cause he was the man in charge, and the jailer's job was not the best in town. Later on, his wife brought hot bologna, eggs, and gravy. The first day I was there, I turned it down. Well, next morning they just let us sleep, but I was up real early, wondering when I'd get my release. Later on, we got more hot bologna, eggs, and gravy, and by now I wasn't quite so hard to please. 2 days later, when I thought that I had been forgotten, the sheriff came in chewing on a straw. He said, "Where is the guy who thinks that this is Indianapolis? I'd like to talk to him about the law." Well, I told him who I was and told him I was working steady, and I really should be getting on my way. That part about me being who I was did not impress him. He said the judge will be here any day. The jailer had a wife, and let me tell you, she was awful, but she brought that hot bologna every day. And after 7 days, she got to looking so much better. I asked her if she'd like to run away. Well, next morning, that old judge took every nickel that I had, and he said, "Son, let this teach you not to race." The jailer's wife was smiling from the window as I left. In 30 minutes, I was out of state.
So you can hear Tom T. Hall had quite a sense of humor the way he described the characters in his song.
Baloney.
Yeah, and the jailer had a wife. So Tom T. Hall, you have to check him out.
Ben, share with the folks how you wrote Montana Country Road.
I'll do just that.
Okay.
Cyndee Jean, co-host of the Ben Stillwater Podcast.
Yeah, and Ben Stillwater, the host.
Be sure to check out Ben Stillwater on Facebook. I'd like to connect with you on there. If you'd like to follow Ben Stillwater, follow the podcast, you can do that on Facebook. That Facebook's a pretty handy deal.
Yeah, tell us how you like the show.
You want me to tell you?
Well,
Or
I would like them to tell us.
I'm really confused right now. But Montana Country Road was a very natural song. I think I worked on that song the longest and the shortest. And that means I started writing the song when I was probably 6 years old. Subconsciously, I think. It was just a part of my life and the experiences. It actually was a song truly about my father's childhood here in Montana, and just came alive with the visions and thoughts that I had through the years of being inspired from him and his story. And as a songwriter, I was able to put together many of the thoughts and landscapes of the story that happened with my dad.
It's very heartfelt.
And of course, what really put the song together, absolutely on the album, we recorded that down in Tennessee at the Cinderella studio, and of course we had many great players on there. You can check that out different places on benstillwater.com and things, but the production was over the top. These guys really nailed it with the string sections with Buddy Spiker, David Davidson, and just a great. I think this one has Buddy Spiker's son David playing the stand-up on that.
Yes,
that
he
song.
was. Mm-hmm.
Hearing the metal art, growing up was a part of my life. Roar of the wind in the willow trees near Livingston. We'd ride for days in the saddle, bringing in the cattle. Cowboy boots, lariat loose. The Yellowstone River, winding, bending around. We had so many times fishing and swimming around. Lay on the bank and listen to the sights and the sound. Just out west of a Montana town. Montana country road, lead me home. From the wildest dream to the mountain stream, lane that led me home. Montana country road, lead me home. From my childhood days, these memories never fade. Montana country road. The 4th of July rodeo, the cowboys put on quite a show. I'd watch from the round pen to see which one would win. I dreamed the day of being a cowboy like them. This meant a lot to a Montana kid. Montana country road, lead me
Well, it's been a good time, a good coffee and conversation again. Of course, you got the coffee off Chuck Wagon and good country music history.
Yeah.
And the nicest thing about history is it's still living. You know, that inspires us to continue. That's some of the greatest things, and that keeps us going as listeners and musicians and just playing music of all kinds. And
there's a lot out there.
And there's more to come. Everybody just keeps writing songs, creating new music, new songs. We're looking forward to hearing from you on Facebook or however else you can do it on them fancy little flat phones with your keypad. Stay in touch when you get a chance. But we like to close each program with a song that's called American Dream. So that's a very inspirational song of the great place we live, and we look forward to being with you again next time on the Ben Stillwater Radio Show.
Thanks for tuning in.
American Dream, American Dream. A million different hearts, a million different ways to build a dream. Endless bounds of peace, the world needs to have harmony. Greatest love of all